He had great chemistry and the match went perfectly. During the entire tournament, Drew had been trying to convince me to try a move where I would do a Frankensteiner with both of us standing on the top rope. This is fascinating stuff here. This what? Oh, hi. I'm Chris Jericho, and I was just reading my last classic, Alliance Tale, Around the World in Spandex by Chris Jericho. And you know, when I'm not making heavy metal albums and taking up for Shawn Michaels on Twitter, I do a lot of shows on VH1 in which I list things. So I did this interview for these guys in your head, and the guy who hosts that show, Jeff, he asked me if I would do a list of the top 50 guests in the history of In Your Head, and I have it right here. And here we go. I'm going to read the top 50 guests in the history of In Your Head. ODB, Awesome Kong, Nikki Rocks, Chris Jericho, Jake Roberts, Scott Hall, Paul Bearer, Juventud Guerrera, Chris Jericho, Matt Hardy, George South, Chris Jericho, Y2J, Don West, Tori Wilson, Tito Santana, Bruno Sammartino, the Ayatollah of Rock and Rolla, Teddy Hart, Larry Zbyszko, Terry Funk, Chris Jericho, the Lionheart, Alex Shelley, Sonny makes this? Scott Norton, Kevin Nash, Six, X-Pac, Sean Waltman, the lead singer of Fozzy, King Kong Bundy, Bob Orton, Jimmy Hart, most of the Spirit Squad, Sid Vicious, New Jack, Chris Jericho, PCO, Al Snow, Hugh Morris, The Yeti, The Fake Ultimate Warrior, DJ Rand, game show host extraordinaire Chris Jericho, Lance Storm, Sean Stasiak, the first ever undisputed champion in the history of wrestling, and finally, number 50 is Chris Jericho. So there you have it, the top 50 guests in the history of In Your Head. I'd like to thank everyone for watching this. I'd like to thank Jeff for hosting a great show, and we'll see you next time, Daddy.